Okay, good evening, everyone. Welcome back to Mother Annie Abrams' 89th Happy Birthday virtual celebration. Tonight we have Diane Curry joining us from the NAACP. Hello, Miss Curry, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you all tonight?
Fantastic, fantastic, fantastic. We got Johnny Hassan. We also have Dr. Jesse Hargrove hosting us, as well as Anjerrio Kameron. I think he's going to try to join us, get back in the picture in just a little, in a few minutes, in just a little bit. So Diane Curry, what I was asking is the question that Ms. Abrams has been asking everyone is, how has she contributed to your own personal teaching, inspiring and pushing for justice, fairness, and dignity for all humanity? And so we were thinking of, you could share your comments on that from the NAACP, please.
Thank you so much, Ms. Sharl Hill, and everyone that's joined in with us tonight. On behalf of the NAACP, I'd like to say I've been knowing Ms. Abrams for a number of years. When I first moved to Little Rock, I just want to kind of share this. I was active with the Urban League, and that's where I first met Ms. Abrams. So being a part of that organization was definitely fighting for our community, her being that voice that inspired me as of course, a younger lady. Now I'm a little older, not that much older, but I was definitely inspired in those young Urban League days when I was around 30 years old. So that's been a number of years, but at that time, she was definitely fighting for justice in our community, fairness in our community, fighting for so many, especially in the civil rights arena. I think that's where I got some of my drive to be able to move forward with my political career that I've had over the last 25 or 30 years. I was definitely encouraged by people like Ms. Abrams and all the dignity and the inspiration that she brought to the table to inspire us. Well, we've got to get up and do something. We can't just not sit back and look and not put actions to work. So therefore, I've been a trailblazer, or should I say I've been a fighter in justice for all, for families, for children, and Mother Abrams has been there all the way to continue to encourage myself and so many others like myself to move forward and keep the fight alive in our communities.
Okay, so with the NAACP, that has been the fighting force for people of African American descent in this country for decades. And the reason being is because, for one thing, it is a nonviolent organization. And it stood for peace and justice and dignity for all humanity. And now more so than ever, the whole mission of the NAACP, to me, is brighter now than it ever has been, because of the issues and things that we have to deal with as people of color, we're forced to deal with. And now I'm seeing, you know, with the movement on Black Lives Matter, I've never seen this many white people come out and march for justice or fairness, you know, for all humanity, relating to or dealing with police brutality, because it's so real. It's so real. And this is why, you know, these movements, they're doing the so-called new movements like Black Lives Matter. What they're doing is something that the NAACP has been doing for decades. It's been, I mean, that's the history of the NAACP, is dealing with justice for all humanity in a non-violent, peaceful protest way. So to me, you know, it's like Dr. King's dream, you know, and marching, you know, the NAACP and marching. That's what's really coming forth now. I mean, it's come forth now in the forefront, more so than any of these other organizations. How do you feel about that?
I'd like to say, Cheryl, and in the group, I agree that the NAACP has been around for 111 years.
Yes.
This year celebration. So that fight is not new. Injustice and police violence, and you know, just all the things that's happened. You know, just as much as the case today with Breonna Taylor, with justice being served, and of course with Floyd, with Mr. George Floyd.
Yeah, George Floyd.
Right, with George Floyd, and what has happened with so much in the area of police brutality. We've been fighting those fights forever. That's not new.
Yeah.
So this is a new movement, and now people of color, but not all people, realize that this is a fight about all people, is what you've indicated.
Yeah.
Human lives, but more so still, Black Lives Matter, because this how it's targeted.
And Brother Hassan, what you were telling us is that, you know, this is something what they saw with the whole George Floyd case, is that they saw a human being being murdered by the police.
Yeah,
and so you know, they're looking at the fact that this is a human being. It's not you know, they're looking at the fact that, hey, this is not only people of color, but you know, it piggybacks on what Black Lives Matter is about, because what they're saying is when Black Lives Matter, all lives matter.
Yeah.
And what clarified, the person that really clarified that was LeBron James when he went on TV and said what he said, that, you know, it is a peaceful protest, and that's what if I'm saying his name right, is it Kaepernick? The one that took the knee.
I think you talk about Kaepernick.
Kaepernick, yeah. I get his name mixed up, so you have to forgive me. Kaepernick. It's like he was like the lonely citizen. He was all alone. It first seemed like when he took a knee. And President Trump was, you know, making fun of these people that was doing that, but they could not realize this was a non-violent, peaceful protest. Taking a knee is a peaceful protest.
Yes.
Against police brutality. And the person that cleared that up for me, that made that clarification, was LeBron James when he went on TV and said that. And the Williams sister, Venus Williams, said the same thing. You know, she commended the brother. She said, I commend that brother for doing what he's doing, because it's nonviolent. It's something that the NAACP has been doing for years. And Brother Johnny had mentioned that same thing.
But one of the things that we have to remember in the National Organization of Colored People, when they said colored people back then, it was not a African American organization. It was not a Jewish organization. It was not a Christian organization. It was people of all nationalities. And that's the foundation of the NAACP. The foundation of it, and it was founded in order for people collectively, regardless of their race. And that's a lot of people don't know the history, that it was never, like some people try to make it a so-called all black, or no, it was never founded that way, okay? And so again, that means, to me, it supersedes a lot of the bias and the prejudice that people have in talking about non-support for organizations because it's standing for people of color, or so forth, etc. And that's a point that we always have to remember in history, that NAACP has always been an organization of color, okay? And it wasn't an organization founded by one ethnic group. And it stood legal, it created a what I call a tenacity to fight for those issues that were humane. Okay, and the humanity of it is that's what made it stand out above other organizations. So again, we're into a time where the black issue is the issue, but the humanity of the NAACP has always been the forefront, always been the ideal advocacy for all human beings.
Right. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's really, but you know, I'm one of those people who believe that you know, to affect change starts with political participation on African Americans. So I would like to know anything that we can do.
Anjerrio?
Yes, can you hear me?
You were, I think you were speaking, but you were kind of going in and out.
Right, okay, I'm sorry about that.
Okay. He was kind of going in and out there. I don't know. I guess hopefully he'll join us back again. But Dr. Hargrove, what are your thoughts about that?
Well, since the Niagara movement of 1909, the NAACP has been at the forefront of colored people's lives. And as you are aware, colored people consisted, there were a lot of black who intermarried with Native American, and colored became the term. And from colored people, you know, we went into the Negro around the Harlem Renaissance. And they asked, should the NAACP change its name since we've changed our identity from colored to Negro? Then we became known as Black, and should we change our name from the NAACP to reflect that this concept called Black and African American, you know? But the NAACP has withstood the test of time throughout all generations to be at the forefront of fighting for justice, equality, ending discrimination, and segregation, to talking about equality for all individuals. And in our city, Little Rock, the Parade comes out by the NAACP of establishing where we begin our year off around Dr. King's birthday to kick off a year where we are rallying the troops, because we know that justice must prevail. So we're getting people excited early on in the new year to get ready and put your boots on. It's time to walk, it's time to talk, but above all, it's action oriented and action focused. And that's what Mother Abrams, Annie Abrams, has always been about. What can we do to make changes so that the community and the people are better off? And that type of fighting for change, as the NAACP and the urban leagues and all of our civil rights organizations, it's what can we do to improve the quality of one's life? And that's what we are about, improving the quality of our lives. And not just in our community, but beyond our community, within our state, within our nation, and within the world. Because we are all one people. We're all one people, the human race. And Mother Abrams would tell you that we are part of the human race. And that's why I feel good about here we are coming together on Zoom, celebrating her birthday, but honoring her by talking about the conditions of police brutality and what we
Yes.
must do to register our people and others to vote. What we must do to step out
Yes.
and vote. Because we have to understand that action is what's needed beyond our voices, beyond our written work. We have to be able to support good people and put good people in office who can make changes in laws, in policies, in the various processes, so that that injustice of no knock raid can stop. Because that guy didn't know who was on the other side of that door. And there was police for Breonna Taylor. And the boyfriend was able to shoot off around because they were knocking, and he didn't hear that. Now, who in their right mind would be shooting if they knew police were out there? They said they announced themselves, but logic doesn't seem to show that they did what they said they did. And there are no cameras. They didn't have any cameras. And so we have to stay on the job and not give up. And Brother Hassan said it best, you know, we just got to keep it moving. Keep it moving. Do some things so that we can make some changes in the laws. We know that situation, the indictment took place, but now the trial and everything, you gotta go through that. And we know what happened with that Rodney King situation. And so we just have to stay vigilant. They came back, and the verdict for Rodney King, it upset the whole nation again. And with all these cases that we have going on now, from, you know, George Floyd and all of these cases we have going on, we have indictments after indictments, and those cases going to come up, boom, boom, boom. And it can set the nation ablaze if we are not careful as to put laws in place, put new practices in place. This police immunity, it has to stop. Why would you make them immune? They're going to keep doing what they're doing.
Right.
So we need you to continue to sound the alarm.
We have to continue it. We have to continue it. And I wanted to thank Diane for joining us tonight with the NAACP. I was trying to make sure that that your mic was on, because
Yes.
because sometimes it kind of cuts, it might kind of cut in and out. I was just trying to make sure of that. But I just want to thank Diane tonight, you know, from NAACP, because this conversation can definitely continue until tomorrow night, because this is some serious issues that, you know, that we're having to face, and that African Americans have always faced. Just like you said, I mean, this has been going on for decades. Never ending. Yeah, and your NAACP has been, you know, has always been about justice and fairness for all. And so, you know, we can like continue this conversation again tomorrow. Hopefully we'll have the Urban League and probably some of Miss Abrams' sorors, you know, and on this same discussion, and just keep on keeping on, keep enlightening people, connecting with people, and getting their voices and opinions heard for justice and fairness for all humanity.
Sure.
But anyway, did anyone else have anything to say this evening?
Yes, ma'am. Let me ask Diane. We have the NAACP Legal Defense Fund. Could you explain, do we have that part of NAACP in our area are affiliated with the National NAACP Defense Fund. You saying? I mean, I know this. They two different
functions. Yes.
Yeah.
I'd like to say that we do connect with the ACLU and the Legal Defense Fund out of, I believe, New York. If there's some issues going on, like we've had with the pandemic and the prison population, information has been forwarded to the Legal Defense Fund that has been on the forefront, especially during this pandemic, with what's happened in prison systems and that type thing, and kind of monitoring that situation. So we do have connections and are on calls every now and then with the Legal Defense Fund. So not that it's here locally, but we do have the connections to join in and share our information with them. And that's been a good thing this year. Since being Little Rock branch and NAACP, we've kind of made some great connections with other organizations throughout the city. And I like to say, I'm grateful to have been an organization like the NAACP that has been a peaceful, nonviolent organization fighting for injustices in our city and in our state and nation.
And one of the things that Diane Curry has been staunch advocate for is the education of our youth, our children.
Yes, yes.
From our school districts and so forth. So that's another situation that's going on with the elections for the new school board. And so we want to stay with our eyes open and very much involved in that as well.
Yeah, because that's education is key, you know, because like as far as like all these organizations uniting and working on this same issue, you know, that's connecting with each other and working on the same issue, connecting with each other, voting for those in office that need to be in office is going to sincerely and genuinely deal with these issues. That's what it's all about, connecting and voting on the right people. I will say this though, in connecting with people, it's like that the annual MLK parade, that's when I see the most people out marching. That's the time, that is a good time to really encourage people to vote, because the crowd is so large. It's grown so much. You know, each year it seems like it's getting bigger. And it would be wonderful if that was that is a venue, to make that a venue to really push people to vote and to vote for correct people in office. What I do want to know is, I want to ask Diane, what workshops or programs during or after the MLK parade that you know of exist to train and to teach and to encourage people, especially these younger people, to register to vote and to get out and vote? Because during the time for the MLK parade, that will be the time to really make that huge announcement, because there's so many people out there.
Well, I'd like to say this past year, when we hosted last year, we did make a focus on voting and registration. So hopefully, we don't know what's going to happen for the upcoming year, but we need to put more emphasis on making sure people register, make sure that they are knowledgeable of who's out there running and how important that is for everybody to vote. And of course, this year, the census has been a big concern. And making
the
sure
districting and the redistricting.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, let me ask you this one final question then. In the past, have they had more workshops on voting for these young people during this MLK parade?
I would say we made a great effort this past year to make sure we had people available. Several organizations stepped forward this time I think we could be more direct and reach out to, we have a Little Rock Youth Council group as well
Right.
as a Central High Youth Council. And we're rebuilding all of those organizations through this pandemic time. And we're also encouraging our youth in other parts, other schools throughout the district, that we can bring those items forward to even start them earlier to make sure that they are registered to vote when they almost are 18. So
Yes,
that would be a great focus coming up for this coming year.
because I know that, because I know that there are like the awards banquets and this kind of thing, that those are usually full, pretty full, because people love to get a good plate of food and listen to a good speaker. You know what I'm saying?
We're gonna be hopeful that we can host some banquets coming up through all of this pandemic days that we've had.
Because I had been wondering, like in the past, you know, would they have, like, you know, those voting registration tables there,
Right?
you know, at those banquets and those awards banquets, because it seems to me that's the main time when people come out, especially just like with the MLK Parade. That's like the major times when I see a lot of people come out. That's where everybody is there, and that would be the time to have those voter registration workshops and tables there. So that's where I was, how successful and how many they've had in the past during these MLK Parades.
So we will definitely focus closer in on that in the near future. I like that idea, and we're gonna refocus that. Sounds
Okay.
great.
I know one year you brought it to Philander Smith College and at the North Little Rock High School. But tables set up for registration would be definitely in order.
Yeah,
exactly.
So.
Exactly. That's the thing to do. Have those tables out there. And I'm trying to figure out maybe even an award for the table that gets the most people to come up and learn about voting and registering. Have some awards there for these young people to get them involved, and more so in that, perhaps, you know. But that's just an idea that I had been thinking of, you know. But anyway, we're going to have to continue this. Tomorrow we have Thursday and Friday, and we have Thursday coming up. It's going to be Brother Anjerrio Kameron is going to have a fabulous, fantastic, powerful poem that he has written for Miss Abrams'
Brother Kameron?
89th birthday.
Wow, that's going to be
powerful.
Wow,
that'd be great.
It's going to be a powerful one. So, you know, we want to make sure that we're here to hear that, and we want to make sure that Miss Abrams will be able to join us, you know, also for that, because it's for her.
Now, is that
it'll be recorded. He's going to be here in my little studio, and it's going to be, you know, recorded, because we want to make sure that we don't have any interference, nothing going to be in and out. We know that we've had technical difficulties, so people just bear with us and forgive us. We're doing our best that we can, you know. So, and hopefully we'll have other people joining us from the Urban League or her sorors. Roselle, Aaron, hopefully we're going to be getting in touch with them too. She even mentioned Deborah from the caucus, you know, so we're going to definitely try to get them on board too for tomorrow night and discuss. And hopefully we'll do better with our technical difficulties. You know, this is my first time trying to do a virtual, you know, birthday party for her, so that we're hosting it. So we'll get better.
I want to say happy birthday to Miss Annie Abrams' 89th birthday.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye,
From the studio of Sharl Hill.
Appreciate you.
Santiago.